Hello and welcome to the K&A Greenhouse New Plants series for 2021. My name is Jessica and I work at the Mineral Point Road location of K&A Greenhouse. Today I will be going over the new broadleaf evergreens for this year. And just a side note, um, not all of these are new on the market, though some of them are, but some of them are just new to us for this year, ones that I haven't been able to get in from our suppliers in the past. And this year I was able to secure some of them on our orders. So, with that said, let's get started. The first one I was finally able to get in is the Boxwood Green Gem. It's a little bit hardier than the Green Velvet and even a little hardier than the Chicagoland Green, which we both will be getting actually all three of these in this year. It's a nice globe shape. It grows pretty slowly, so you don't need to do a lot of shearing. But if you do want to, you can go ahead and prune it. And typically, July is the best time once the new growth has come out and hardened off a little bit. You'll also see a lot of boxwoods in English gardens, kind of those ones that you can form into like that's the square hedge. So that's this plant. So it does take pruning fairly well if that's something that you'd like to do to keep your gardens a little bit tidier. This one is a 3 to 4 foot tall and 3 to 4 foot wide. Like I said, it's a slow grower, so don't expect much more than I'd say 4 to 6 inches at the most every year. Um, so that's another reason why it's a nice globe shape, as it won't get out of hand like some of the other evergreens sometimes tend to do. This plant is actually good in containers. So if you have something by your garage door or your front doors that you just want to put an easy shrub in, you could do a green gem boxwood, and it would handle that type of location very well. Boxwoods are also very versatile in the landscape because they handle full sun, and full shade. I have 9 of them in different areas in my property, ranging from full sun to full shade and everywhere in between. And they all seem pretty happy. Nothing really gets to them unless they have really wet feet. Typically, they don't like being next to a sidewalk where all the snow gets shoveled, or a driveway where the snow gets shoveled, because that saturates the soil too much, and then you will see some browning and kind of bronzing on the leaves. Um, with the boxwoods, even though they have leaves instead of needles, they will keep the leaves year round. So you'll have that green color even in the winter months, when everything else is kind of white and bare. A new boxwood for us that's a little bit different is the variegated boxwood. Um, when it's younger, it is more of a globe shape. As it ages, it becomes more of the pyramid shape. So I would imagine that you would be able to actually keep it pruned into a globe shape if that's how you would prefer. Again, it's a slow growing plant. All boxwoods tend to put on about 4 to 6 inches of growth every year. This one will keep that green center with the kind of cream, almost yellow edge on there, kind of a butter yellow on the edge there. And the hardiness on this one is a 5, whereas the green gem is more of a zone 4 hardiness. This one's also a little bit bigger. With the If you let it grow into that pyramid shape, it'll be about 4 to 5 feet wide and more of a 4 foot, maybe even 5 foot, as if it gets really old, for a width on that. And the other new boxwood that we have coming in is called Sprinter. This one is is touted as a fast growing boxwood. So fast growing is relative. You're not going to see feet of growth on this one. They're saying it's a fast growing boxwood because it puts on about 8 inches of growth every year. So that is technically double what you would see the other boxwoods putting on every year. So it does, I guess, double in size what the other ones will. It's another one that's a globe shape to it. Will still handle pruning very well. And this one, full sun to full shade, just like all the other boxwoods. The hardiness on this one is listed as a zone 5. It's a proven winners introduction. So it's only been on the market for, I believe, 2 or 3 years now. So as it ages on the market, we'll see. It may even be a zone 4, but we'll just have to see as they continue to trial this plant. The rhododendrons are the next broadleaf evergreen type that I'll be getting in this year. We will have the PJM, and eventually we'll be getting the purple gem in, but those were really hard to get in spring this year. So I tried to get in some new varieties just to offer something for the spring flowering, because all rhododendrons tend to flower really early in spring, sometimes as early as the end of April if we get a really early, actually really warm spring like we've had this year. If it's cooler spring, it's typically right around Mother's Day that you'll see the flowers start to pop on this one here in Wisconsin. Karen is one of the slower growing rhododendrons. So again, it probably won't put on a lot of growth, maybe 4 inches a year. It has kind of this pinkish lavender colored flower on it. And this one, I actually don't know if it will lose its leaves or not. Some of my sales reps told me it's a broadleaf evergreen, and some of my sales reps told me that it loses its leaves every winter. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens. We may plant some around the greenhouse on Mineral Point Road and see what they do for us there. This one is a shorter one, so it's 3 to 4 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide at maturity. And like I said, they typically bloom in early spring. And this variety, Karen, is a zone 4 for hardiness. The Korean Compact is definitely not new on the market. This one I was selling way back in my 20s. So it's been around for quite a while. It's actually a really nice substitute for the purple gem. If that one was on your list, you could look at this one instead. It has the same lavender colored flower bunches that you'll see in early May for flowering. And it's another one that's about 3 feet tall and 3 feet wide. So it's a nice globe shape. In the winter, I should say, in the fall, it changes to a red color. And then in winter, it's a chocolate brown color, which then changes back to green when the new growth starts to come out in spring. This one is listed as a zone 4 hardiness, and I would probably say that's pretty accurate. We're getting this one from McKay Nursery up in Waterloo, Wisconsin. So they've trialed this one for quite a while. I would think that zone 4 is a pretty good indication. The next one that I'll be getting is called Nova Zembla, which I believe is not super new to the market. We're getting a lot of our rhododendrons from Monrovia, which is coming out of Connecticut. They grow quite a few rhododendrons out there because it's a great climate for the rhodies out there. So this one I'm pretty excited about because it says that it has a red flower. I'm guessing it's kind of a pinkish red, but it's still a little bit different than the purples that you see quite a bit on most of the rhododendrons that we have here in Wisconsin. This one, it is a hardiness zone 4, but there is the note that says it needs protection from winter winds. So I would not put it on north side of the house because it'll get all kinds of winter winds and the buds will probably freeze off and then you won't get any flowers on it. Like the last rhododendron I was talking about, it also gets red fall color and then will change to that chocolate brown in the winter and then green up again in the spring when the new growth comes out. This one actually prefers partial sun. In full shade, it will do okay, but it gets leggy. And in full sun, all rhododendrons tend to brown out. They don't do as well. They need some, like at least a half a day of shade to be happiest. The Nova Zembla, it will be a little bit taller. It's a 4 to 5 feet tall and 4 to 5 feet wide at maturity. Probably puts on 6 to 8 inches of growth a year, so a little bit faster than the dwarf types, but still not a huge grower by any stretch. The Olga Meset is another one that's not really new on the market. It's basically the wife of the PJM rhododendron. This is the Olga was Peter Meset's wife, and the PJM is named after Peter Meset. So this one's just a little bit shorter, 3 to 4 feet tall and 2 to 3 feet wide, whereas the PJM gets 4 to 5 feet tall and same width for that one. So this is just a little bit more dwarfed than the PJM. Same flower, that pinkish lavender color, and it has the same red fall color and the chocolate brown in the winter on the leaves. And this one It also is a little bit hardier than some of the ones we're getting from Monrovia. So this one, if you had a spot you wanted to put this one out kind of in a bed further out from the house, it would be okay. It's a zone 4 and it'll take Wisconsin winters pretty well. Pink Rose Bay is another one I'm getting from Monrovia this year. I could not get the Aglow variety that we've had the last few years from Bailey Nurseries. They're completely out for this year. So I have to wait until 2022 for that one. But this one is a nice pink. The buds you can kind of see in this photo are a nice rosy pink, and then the flower opens up to a white with a blush pink on the inside of it and on the tips. This one says it's best in full shade or part sun, or if you have a spot underneath the tree where it gets kind of filtered sunlight all day long, that would be fine too. It just doesn't like to have that full sun exposure. This is another one from Monrovia that says hardiness to zone 4. However, the caveat is it needs to be protected from the winter winds. So again, the north side of the house is not the best place to plant this one. And the Rhododendron Rosium elegans is, again, another one that's not new on the market, but it's new to us. We've never carried this one before. The little flowers on it are supposed to, the edges of the flowers are supposed to be a little bit frilly. So it has kind of like a pie crust edge almost on it. So that adds a little bit of extra interest. Same with the lavender purple flower colors. This one is hardy to zone 4, so it's plenty hardy for us here in the Madison area in Wisconsin. And this is the fastest growing of the rhododendrons that we'll have this season. 5 to 6 feet tall and 5 to 6 feet wide at maturity. But even as a fast growing rhododendron, it will only put on maybe a foot of growth. I would think 8 to 10 inches is probably more likely, especially with our growing season the way it is here in the Midwest. And with all rhododendrons, I should mention they do prefer acidic soils. So the best way, if you do have more alkaline soils, is to actually add some type of sulfur to the soil. And you can always check with the UW extension to see the best method that they recommend. To go ahead and alter the pH and then to plant a rhododendron once the pH has been altered versus planting a rhododendron and trying to change the pH while the rhododendron is growing, because it'll take a good year for you to change that soil pH. So that first year when the rhododendron is trying to get established, and then you're also trying to change the soil pH, it'll be stressed that first year even more than it normally would be just having been planted. And we have a couple of new hollies coming in. The first one is the female. So it's called Castle Spire. It's the one that gets the berries on it. It will need a male pollinator in order to get the berries. So the next one is called Castle Wall. This is the male that will pollinate the female here. Castle Spire is a 6 to 8 foot tall and 3 to 4 feet wide. It's another slow growing broadleaf evergreen. So it will not reach 6 to 8 feet in 3 years or so. It'll take a lot longer than that. It does have a pyramid shape to it. So it's kind of like the variegated boxwood that I showed you earlier with the pyramidal growing habit. And the red berries will kind of hang out through typically Christmas, sometimes a little bit longer than that, but they generally won't hang on to the plant through the entire winter. And then with Castle Wall, like I said, that's the male that will pollinate the Castle Spire holly. It has usually a pyramid shape, although this photo makes it just look like a columnar shape. The Castle Wall is a 5 to 8 foot tall and a 3 to 4 foot wide. So a lot of people are looking for the sky pencil. I've had a lot of requests for the sky pencil holly, and that one is actually not hardy in this area. Some websites list it as a zone 5, but it's actually a zone 6. So I've been recommending Castle Wall and Castle Spire instead. They're still fairly tall and narrow, and they handle zone 5 here in Wisconsin a lot better than the sky pencil will. So that's all I have for the broadleaf evergreens that are new this year. you can go ahead and check our plant lists on our website. We have everything listed on there of what we are getting in this year. So if you see something that you're interested in, you have questions on it, feel free to email us at knagreenhouse@gmail.com, or you can give us a call at either of these phone numbers and somebody will get back to you. Typically, we have someone at each location Monday through Friday right now. And then we're planning to open for retail on Friday, April 16th. So hopefully, Mother Nature will play nice and we'll have a great spring and hope to see you all very soon.